Good morning. It's Friday, my United Agenda family, and we're back. There's lots of news to discuss in the social media today and in the papers, so stay with us for this one. It's jam-packed. Firstly, a very good morning to my colleague and co-host today, Mr. OMONDI Juma. How are you doing on this Friday morning?
In the words of Rebel, I'm grand. That's Irish, isn't it? When you say you're grand, that means marvellous. Feeling good. How are you, Rebel?
Absolutely great. It's Friday. I got that Friday feeling. We have Premier League football. And of course, last night, if you did miss it, we had our Manchester United our Aston Villa versus Manchester United preview show. We are traveling to Villa Park. So if you did miss it, make sure to check it out in our past videos. It was a very interesting and informative stream, and there was a lot to go through. But I want to take the opportunity to give my score prediction because, of course, you gave yours yesterday, Monday Juma. If you want to remind the people, what was your scoreline?
As typically, it's always 1-0 for me at the moment for a long period of time. Because I like to control the game and manage it. Score a goal and then leave it to the rest of the team to manage the game and see it out. I want to see that sort of character in the team. So 1-0 Man United. What's your score?
Well, it's not often that this happens, but I have gone for a 0-1 or 1-0 if you prefer to Manchester United for tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Snap.
Yeah.
Reasons?
I'm looking at our recent scoring form, and to be honest with you, the figures don't add up to say that we're going to get a 2 or a 3. So I feel like get one, shut the front door, and get out of jail with your 3 points is what we have to do.
Yeah. Great minds think alike, eh?
But they do say that. But as you say, we do have a very meaty show on the plate today. Firstly, there's a number of outgoings, and in our headline today, we have mentioned one, Diego Dalot. But I want to group a few more players into that melting pot with you on Monday. Eric Bailly, and there was one other one, Dean Henderson, and I give you those three
Donny
first.
Van de Beek.
And Donny Van de Beek.
Well, yeah.
That's the one. So
it's
given
4 guys we're looking at.
4 guys, given the depth of our squad, Diego Dalot potentially being our number 1 right back at the moment, given he's more proficient going forward. Eric Bailly going in a position where we're not exactly sure of the injury status of a lot of our players and their ability to stay fit. And then Donny Van der Beek in an area again where you might just say we're not exactly over-endowed with other options. Are we leaving ourselves 10 if these players leave?
Look, we've got a big squad for starters, yeah? And you have to look at the games that these guys are playing. All the guys you mentioned are not first-team players, even though some might argue they should be. But Dalot has only just recently got into the side, and he's holding it down. Whether he starts in the Premiership on the weekend, that's to be seen. But a lot of players, a lot of fans like him. A lot of us on Man United Agenda like him too. He's a good attacking fullback, something we need, and I think we need to sort of push with him now that he's got a bit of confidence and he's showing he's ready to play for Manchester United. So when I hear rumours about him leaving or going to Atletico Madrid, I'm just like despair. I think no, this can't be true, and that would just be stupid business if we decided to let him go. We wanted to get Kieran Trippier. He was we were looking at him to come in to fill that gap, you know. But now he's gone to Newcastle. We're going to let them take our, potential wonder kid? Hell no, I'm not having it. What about you? What do you think about that? Don't you think it's a bit dodgy, that news story? Doesn't make sense.
I'd have to say something doesn't add up because even besides the point that he's actually slowly wresting that starting jersey from AWB, because we are seeing less and less AWB, more and more Dalot.
Yeah.
Even with just the two of them, it does not make sense to be removing from our squad our backup or first team right back. There's absolutely no sense to it whatsoever. We do not have any more cover there.
Yeah, totally. Obviously, we've got guys on loan who can come back in and do a job. But as for now, we can't. We got two. What, we're going to leave one man as a right back? That can't be done. Just going to the other guys. Henderson storming out of training. I accept that. I think there could be some truth in that because the guy wants to play and he's been patient long enough. He got duped into signing a new contract because maybe promises were made. And we're looking at it now, and he can't even get a Premiership game. This is like really disappointing for me. You know, I support Dean Henderson, so that one I can understand. I think there's some truth in that. Whether we loan him or sell him, I'm not sure now. But I just think, the De Gea, the way he's playing, and the way the manager's endorsing him, he definitely seems like he's number one at the moment. As for Donny, you know I like Donny. I think Donny should stay. There's a position there for him. We're a bit short. Pogba's out as well, and we can't rely on Fred and McTominay. We've got Champions League coming up as well. And going to be FA Cup run, hopefully. So we need these players, as you said from the start, about having a deep squad.
Absolutely. For me, with the Henderson one, I'm not exactly convinced, as I wasn't with Dalot, but he's slowly turning my head and making me believe in him. I'm not convinced that Henderson has yet established himself enough at a bigger side that he is the all-singing, all-dancing number one keeper for a club of the size and expectation level of a Manchester United. I do think that it's possible that down the line, that obviously as De Gea moves further along in his career and goes over his peak, that we might actually have a situation where neither of them will be the first choice keeper in 2-3 seasons. That De Gea will move on and go home as he'd originally planned a number of years ago and see out his career possibly in Spain around the Atleti area where we picked him up from. Henderson, I think, will not want to wait anywhere beyond this summer's transfer window. So he will probably leave in search of that football that he's craving, whether it's by yet another loan like we did previously with him, or whether we do accept that it's unlikely that the management that is currently here and that will be following him is going to want to utilise him as the number one, in which case they may take a fee rather than losing for nothing down the line and have an unhappy player storming around your training ground, which nobody wants unhappy players in training because it does bring down the mood and the work rate, I feel, in a training area.
Yeah, good assessment there, Rebel. I'd have to agree with you.
But then Donny van der Beek, yes, he's not got his chance. Could he be offered to Newcastle and Borussia Dortmund? It's possible. But again, looking at our situation as it stands, looking at the former Bruno Fernandes, the fact that we're possibly playing two people in the area that Bruno is, if we persist with the 2-2-2 system that Ralph has commenced with, and then also the areas behind, we're not exactly over and down with talent because Pogba's long-term absence key. We have Fred McTominay, who are basically currently carrying those positions, and we're praying that neither of them get injured. Matic is coming in and out, but again, based on his age, he's not going to be able to do game now, game 3 days time, game 3 days later. It's just not feasible. So we have to be very careful with the way that we use him. And you also have to assess what's going to be coming against him and who needs to be around him. So again, you have to be very careful with your squad rotation to make sure players are fresh. I think it would absolutely be cockamamie to let him go. I would, whereas if we said Lingard, or actually even Lingard at this stage, I don't think we can afford to let him go, to be honest with you. Because I don't feel we have, while we have Outdeen cover in the front two, it gets very thin in that central midfield, especially when we're not using the wingers like we used to. No, maybe that will change. Maybe Ralph is starting to use more of a 4-3-3 type system, in which case we'll have two more kind of wide wingers coming into a central forward. But again, it does beg the question, if we are prepared to let these players go, have we still got problems in the upper areas like the Darren Fletchers and the Murta area in terms of our squad management? Because we have seen positions now with Antonio Martial where his contract is causing difficulty in facilitating moves to other clubs.
Yes,
because
of course.
when you look at it, I think it was Sevilla, wasn't it? They wanted United to carry the wage bill.
Mm. And even if they paid a fraction of it, it would still be like 150 grand a week, which is far too much for them. I think he's on 250 grand a week around that region. So yeah, that just shows you when you start signing players on big wages, it's difficult to get rid of them.
Absolutely. But I suppose we've mentioned now all the outgoings, but there are quite a number of incomings mentioned in the tabloids and media circles today. One Tariq Lamptey, one Tuchemani, one Fabian Ruiz, who's in our headline, and one that's absolutely gargantuan price tag has been slapped on him. One Declan Rice at, let me say this slowly, £200 million is the price tag that has been slapped on him. What?
Yeah, that's a lot of money, isn't it? A lot of money. I mean, a few months ago, they were talking about 100 million. We were gasping. And now they're saying 200 million. Obviously, they want to keep him. They're in top four at the moment. At the moment, they're in the top four. So they need to sort of back their fans and not be sort of offering their top players out like that so easily. So 200 million, I think they suggested before the end, that if anyone's going to offer in this little window, they want 200 million. And that just just deters everybody. As good as he might be, there's no way he's a 200 million pound player. I'm looking more in the region of 60, 70 million. Be realistic.
Well, you have to remember now, he does come with the English tax. And when you're buying from another Premier League club and it's an English player, the reality is you add 20, 30 million straight away to the actual market value of the player that they were.
I am.
You are?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, so I think maybe 50 mil. You have to be realistic. It's getting out of hand with all this sort of transfer money. What we're going to find, these other clubs in Europe are not going to spend that sort of money anymore. So the price will start to have to come down, and we have to start evaluating players a lot differently soon. It's going to happen. Tell you something though, you mentioned Ruiz from Napoli. He's a good player. I've always liked him. Never thought he'd be interested or he'd be on our radar. But now that he is, they're talking about him. Fabian Ruiz. He came from Betis. Good real player. He's left-footed. He's got a left-foot wand. He plays in midfield, a bit like Matic, but a lot younger. 25 years old, as a baller. He reminds me of Donny van der Beek. He does the sort of thing Donny van der Beek does. He ticks the game over. He plays as a 6 or an 8. He's just super talented, and he's a team player. And if you want to play progressive football as a team in the midfield, where he's going to get the ball, you can't rush him. He's got good vision, good awareness, and great technique as well. That's the ideal signing. I just didn't think he was on our radar. Now that he is, I'm like, okay, yeah, 6'2" as well. Remember that, 6'2" in the Premiership. You think so? He's Spanish at 6'2". I didn't think that was even possible, But he's a good footballer, and when it comes to interceptions as well, he's not like a Roy Keane tackler or Brian Robson, but he will pinch the ball, he will time and intercept. So I like him. I like his game, but I just never considered him at Man United. But now we are. As for the guy from Monaco, yeah, I think he's a good player, one for the future. That depends on the price tag for me. I don't think you should overspend on someone so young, as we saw with Martial. That was a big mistake, because we always get these new wonder kids. Oh, good, this guy's a new big thing. You have to be wise with your decision making. You might see highlights, or you might watch French football and think, yeah, he's good, and he started to play for the international team as well. But give it time. I want to see a bit more of him before we start splash out 70, 80 million. Look what happened with Pepe, for example, at Arsenal.
I suppose I just want to say one thing with regards to Ruiz, and this is something that's very key to this whole possibility of signing him. He does enter the final 12 months of his contract in the summer. So he's got, maybe the go to 15 months on his contract left at the moment. So it is possibly one that could be done. And they just believe Napoli are already looking at a replacement. So they are looking at the possibility of this guy moving on and saying, yeah, we'll take whatever amount of money. It's an area that you need to strengthen. They'll probably add a Manchester United tax onto their price. But look, it is what it is. Who would have said that Chris Wood would be worth 25 million to Newcastle? I certainly didn't. But,
that was a minimum fee release clause, apparently. Because I'm surprised that deal went through. But yeah, everyone's making moves, but us. So let's get all this speculation. Let's turn it into reality. Because I do think we do need to buy a midfielder ASAP.
Now, I'm not going to spend too long on this last link because for me it's very, very tenuous. It's very, very unbelievable because we have been linked with this guy multiple times before. One, Paulo Dybala. There's more speculation that Juventus have approached United about him. Do you think that's feasible, number one? Do we need him, number two? And should we just move on and say, no, thank you?
I would rather move on from that. We've done this before. Dybala, obviously talented player. I saw him score a beautiful goal the other day with his left foot from just outside the box. And he should stay at Juventus. It's just the case they're having problems with finance at the moment, and they have to sort of reduce the wage bill. And he's one of them guys. He's one of their sort of golden players. So yeah, I don't think it's feasible. I don't think it's going to happen.
Gotcha. I just want to say before we move on to our final topic of the day, a very good morning to Mark Edwin in the chat. This is Lucas Life.
Good day.
The boss man Solo 7, who forgot to mention the greatest number 7 of all time, one Georgie Best last night. We have It's Alfie Mika also in the chat. I think that's a new person.
Big up, Alfie.
So very welcome to the Man United agenda. And as I said, there was the preview show for United's game tomorrow last night. So if you did not get a chance to watch it, make sure you do go back. It's a very big program that we had last night, and make sure you give us your comments about it in the comments afterwards. Now, the last topic, and we'll hit this one fairly quickly because, as we know, Ralph Rangnick is only the interim manager, and there's the 2-year consultancy in the inverted commas that will be following that. Speculation continues to be rife around the future manager position. There's 2 names that are in the pot today in the various media circles, and that for once it's not Ten Hag, who I still think is the favourite for the job, to be honest with you. Solo says Pochettino, who does feature heavily, and according to one news source, that he's in regular contact with Manchester United regarding succeeding there. But there's a surprising one, and I just want your quick opinion on this one. Antonio Conte has been believed to have said to Spurs, if you do not deliver me the transfers that I want in January and United come a knocking, I'm getting out of here and I'm going down to Manchester. Firstly, how does that make you feel about the character of the man? And secondly, would you take him?
I think it's good of Conte. We know, what you're getting with Conte. Someone who's forthright, who knows what he wants and demands it. So there's always this battle with managers and the board to get what they want. And before he even came to the club, he's obviously suggested to the Tottenham board, I want A, B, C, and D. He's brought in his guys, brought in his director of football, all these Italians. He's identified Italian players that he wants to bring in, and even players that we've been interested in as well. And nothing's happened as yet. They've gotten booted out of the cup the other day. I think there's always going to be speculation. We were linked to him before Ralph came in. I'm saying no. I'm not interested in Conte. Not because I like his character. I'm not saying anything about that. But he's a short-term coach. Comes in, does a job, but doesn't really stay at clubs too long. We want someone long-term as a long-term project. I don't think that's Conte. Conte will come in, bring in players to suit, and then leave the club with us on big players like getting old with big wages. So and his formation as well. It'll take a lot to change his to adapt to his formation, a 3-5-2, that kind of thing. We haven't got the players at the moment to sort of suit that, whereas Tottenham do. But it's easy. He's got an easier job at Tottenham. I think he should stay there and perform. Stop whining about transfers and everything else. I know you want to win, but they've got a long-term project, and I think he could do really well there if he sticks with it.
Absolutely. I do agree with your sentiment in regards to Conte. I think what we would be doing was probably unraveling everything that Ralph is trying to set up for us if we did look at the option, because it is a youth first priority that Ralph is trying to instill in Manchester United, and he would be looking for players that can deliver results now and not necessarily players that will be with us 2, 3, 4 seasons down the line. Just a quick one I want to touch on that in the comments from Baragav. Good morning to you and welcome. He says, would we take Dembele? My answer is very short and sweet in regards to that. Talented player, but the off-the-field issues that come with him, and there's possible injury concerns with him, I think, as well.
Yeah.
No. frankly.
Yeah, I second that. I totally agree. Even I watched him the other day in the Super Cup final, and he was really good. But no, I don't think he was suitable for Manchester United.
Absolutely. And big up, Mr. K. Good morning. And then just to wet the beak with the last story that I came across, there are calls that one Cristiano Ronaldo needs to take on more of a role, a la Roy Keane did and Ruud van Nistelrooy did in the squad. I presume what they're referring to there is the senior role, the no-nonsense player that demands from the other players in the team that they hit the bar and the levels that is expected of them, and he holds them to account for it.
Yeah, totally agree. I think you need to start boxing like Roy Keane and slapping a few of these players up. What he said with his interview the other day, I hope all you guys watched the interview and you can take from it what you want, but I think the overwhelming theme from the interview is that he demands more from the players. A winner, he wants to achieve things at Manchester United, and he's asking the players indirectly through the media to step up and get their mentality right, start being more professional. And I think, that is the role. I think he's already taken that role at the club. Wherever he goes, he's always going to be that senior guy. He's the guy to look up to, the guy to say, this is the standard we demand. So I'm happy he's at the club. I think it's still a good signing, and I think it's just the other people have to step up to his level, and that's what they're trying to do.
Absolutely. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone that filled the comments today. Sorry we didn't read out more of them. Be sure to tune in to the Friday night takeaway tonight. I believe Mr. B and TalkMU have a cracking show lined up for us. That is live at 10 p.m. tonight on the United Agenda. So make sure to tune in. But that is... Oh, sorry, OMONDI. Go on.
Sorry, lastly, I just want to say the last comment here. Big up Joda. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hope you're doing well, Joda. Hope you're a Man United fan. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll be seeing you around. Big up.
Absolutely. Very big welcome, Joda. But that is it from us. The takeaways tonight. Tomorrow, the TalkMU and whatever guest, I think it's Mr. B that he has on with him, will be doing the watch along, and there will be a reaction show following it. But for today, that's it from me. That's it from my good colleague, OMONDI Juma. We will catch you all down the road.